Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to crack open something incredible, a system for understanding art and language that's been around for 2,000 years. Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about finding the very soul of language. So let's kick things off with this thought from the scholar of Vinod Joshi. He says, we know the language, but we do not know about the language. And wow, that really hits, doesn't it? He's basically saying there's this entire hidden world, this whole other layer of meaning just under the words we use every single day. And Indian Poetics? Well, that's our map to explore it. This brings us to the big question, the one that Indian thinkers have wrestled with for centuries. What exactly is the soul of poetry? You know, the Atman, its true essence. Is it just the pretty words, or maybe the style? Or is it that feeling you get, that goosebumps moment? Well, they looked at every single possibility. All right, section 1, beyond knowing language. So first things first, we've got to get our heads around a really key difference. It's the gap between just using words and really, truly understanding how they work their magic. Okay, look at this. This is a core idea. You've got Vastu on one side and Vastuta on the other. Think of it like this. Vastu is the thing itself, the plot of a story, a wooden table, right? The physical form. But Vastuta is its essence. It's not the plot, but the deeper meaning. It's not just the table, but the woodness of the wood. It's all about learning to see past the surface to get to the real stuff. And just to be clear, we are way past grammar here. Indian Poetics, or Kavya Shastra, picks up right where the rulebooks end. It's a full-on scientific and philosophical dive into what makes language, well, art. The big question it's trying to answer is, how on earth can a bunch of words strung together make us feel something so powerful, so deep? So, let's get into the architecture of poetry. Over the years, 6 major schools of thought popped up, and each one had a totally different, really fascinating idea about where to find that soul. All right, so the first 2 contenders basically looked at the body of the poem. You've got the Alamkara school, who are all about the jewelry. The metaphors, the similes, all the shiny stuff. But then you have the Riti school, and they were like, no, it's not the jewelry, it's the posture. For them, it was all about the style, the way the words are put together. And the Alamkara folks didn't just stop there. They broke it down into 2 types of ornaments. You have Shabdalankara, which is all about sound. Think alliteration, rhyme, the stuff that makes poetry music to your ears. And then you have Arthalankara, which is about sense, about meaning. This is your similes, your metaphors, the stuff that makes your brain light up. But here comes Vamana, the main guy from the Riti school, and he says, hold on a second. He basically argued that the real soul isn't some extra decoration you add on top. It's in the very bones of the poem, the specific, unique, perfect arrangement of the words. For him, style isn't just part of it, style is the soul, full stop. So the Riti school even gave poets a kind of toolkit of styles. You've got Vidarbhi, which is all smooth, sweet, and clear, perfect for a love poem. Then there's Gaudi, which is big, bold, and forceful. You'd use that for an epic battle. And then Panchali is somewhere in the middle, delicate, soft, and emotional. The whole point was to pick the right tool, the right style, for the job. Okay, part 3, the echo and the essence. We've talked about the body of the poem, its posture, its jewelry, but now we're going deeper. We're looking for its breath, its very life force. And this, right here, is a total game changer. It's called Dhvani. The Dhvani school came along and said the soul of poetry isn't in what the words say, it's in what they don't say. It's that echo, that resonance, that feeling that lingers long after you've finished reading. It's what's left hanging in the air. So how does that even work? Well, you have to think about words having different powers, kind of like layers. At the bottom, you've got abhida. That's just the plain old dictionary definition. Step up and you have lakshana, the implied meaning. But the top tier, the real magic, is vyanjana. That's the suggestive power, the Dhvani. And here's the key. That final layer isn't just in the words. It's something that you, the reader, help create. It's the collaboration. And that idea of the reader's experience brings us to, well, what a lot of people think is the final answer, the ultimate soul of poetry. It's a concept so important, the great sage Bharata Muni said that without it, art literally cannot exist. We're talking about rasa. Now, rasa literally translates to juice or flavor, and this is crucial. Rasa is not the emotion the character is feeling. It's the unique, refined, aesthetic emotion that we, the audience, get to experience. Think about it.
It's the reason you can watch a sad movie and find it beautiful, not just depressing. You're not feeling Hamlet's actual grief, you're tasting the universal flavor of sorrow.
So how do you cook up this rasa? Well, you can think of it like a recipe. First, you need your ingredients. That's the Vibhava. This is the characters, the setting, the plot. Then, those ingredients cause a reaction, the Anubhava, a tear, a smile, a gasp. And all of this works on something that's already inside you, a dormant emotion called Sthaayibhava. The art doesn't create the feeling from scratch. It awakens it and transforms it into this beautiful shared experience of rasa.
And they didn't stop there. They mapped it all out into 9 primary aesthetic flavors, the Navarasa. It's like a menu of artistic experiences. The raw emotion of love gets refined into the erotic flavor, Shringara. Raw energy is distilled into the heroic flavor, Vira. It's this incredible, comprehensive map of every major emotional experience you can have through art. Okay, on to our last section, the poet's secret code. Here we're going to look at 2 final principles that kind of act like the engine and the conscience for this whole system. First step is Vakrokti. You can think of this as creative crookedness or oblique speech. It's the art of not saying things straight. It's taking the most interesting path instead of the direct one. So instead of the sunset, you get the sun, tired from its long journey, finally rested its head on the ocean's pillow. See? That twist, that deviation, that's where the poetry lives. And for the theorist Kantanka, this was everything. He said this proved that a poet isn't just holding up a mirror to the world. Oh no, the poet is a creator, almost like a god, using language not just to describe reality, but to build brand new ones for us to explore. And finally, what holds this entire universe together? A single principle, Auchitya, propriety. It's the ultimate rule. You can think of it as the wisdom of what fits. It doesn't matter how beautiful your figure of speech is. If it doesn't serve the main emotional goal, the rasa, then it's just noise. It's like wearing diamond earrings with workout clothes. The pieces might be great on their own, but they just don't belong together. So here's the big takeaway. These 6 schools, they aren't fighting with each other. They're all parts of one unified vision. It's like a complete toolkit for understanding a poem. You've got the jewelry, the posture, the creative spark, the hidden breath, the guiding wisdom. And at the very center of it all, the soul, which is rasa. It's a complete anatomy of art. And maybe the most powerful idea in this whole system is this. A poem isn't really on the page. A painting isn't really on the canvas. Art doesn't fully exist out there in the world. It only becomes complete, it only truly comes alive inside of us, inside the mind and heart of the person experiencing it. So think about it. The next time you pick up a book or watch a movie, are you just going to follow the plot, or are you going to try and taste its rasa? Knowing all this gives you a key, a new way to unlock art. It turns you from just a consumer into a co-creator of beauty. So I'll leave you with this. What rasa will you go find next?